Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time it is, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Daily West Ham. Welcome to Falls from Iron. I am Gatesy. Don't forget to drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the YouTube channel, and make sure you hit that bell icon to be notified of any new content as and when we upload it to the channel, such as this. And I am very fortunate enough to be joined by our regular contributor, Steve 50. How are you, sir?
Oh, I'm good, thank you, Gatesy. Bit gutted with today's result. I mean, we were
Yeah,
both there. We were talking about it afterwards. But yeah, I'm fine.
good,
Very
good,
proud
good,
of the boys today, so that's
good.
good.
Fantastic. Before we get into the nuts and bolts of why we're here, don't forget, guys, this, as usual, this information is in the description below YouTube and Facebook. This is the campaign to get Isla Caton treatment for neuroblastoma, which she can't get in the UK. So her family have got to try and fund the treatment and everything around it that pertains to the treatment. So the flights to and from wherever it is in the world the treatment needs to be taking place, their accommodation once they're there, their living costs once they're there, the bills that are still going to come in their absence in the UK, guys. Absolutely horrible situation for any family to be in. Really, I'm not even too fussed if you're watching this and you're not a West Ham fan, you're not a football fan even. But if this can resonate with you, if you're a family person, if you've got a family and all the rest of it, if this strikes a chord with you, please put this onto your social media platforms with a little message as to what it's all about, that there's a 6-year-old girl that's absolutely fighting for her life, and she needs help, to try and keep the momentum behind this campaign. If you are in a position where you can actually put a few bob in the pot as well, you've got the Just Giving link there. Please give generously, and I thank you very much indeed for your attention as always. So, Steve, the first little nugget of information I would like to share with you. This is a
Hmm.
story that broke this morning. The tragic passing of a English footballing legend who, for 2 seasons, did ply his trade at West Ham. To be fair, by the time he turned up at Upton Park, he was probably on the downward slide. However, he
Hmm.
was and is, to this day, he is an English footballing legend. I, of course, am talking about the one and only Mr. Jimmy Greaves.
Yeah, I mean, what a player.
Mm,
I never actually saw him play. Uh, I've seen footage, obviously, but I know my dad saw him play for the Hammers and he saw him play for Tottenham against us, and he said he was brilliant. Yeah, he was just an absolute natural with a football at his
yeah,
feet. And I know a few people know who knew Jimmy Greaves, and every single one of them said what a nice guy he was,
mm,
what a genuine bloke he was. Now he had his difficulties, he had his troubles, but who doesn't go through life with those?
absolutely.
And unfortunately, because of who he was, it was very, very public.
Mm,
But he was quite self-effacing about it. He said, "Yeah, I could write a book about my drinking exploits. I just need somebody to tell me where I was at the time." And that really, from what I understand, that really summed the man up. I
yeah,
I also know he had a very, very close friendship with Bobby Moore.
yes, he did.
But
Yeah,
yeah, and I know from sources that I'm friends with, that when Bobby Moore passed away, Jimmy Greaves was absolutely devastated.
yeah,
He really struggled with that, and I think a lot of his how should we say, problems in his private life uh came from the fact that he didn't play in the World Cup final. I think that was a huge, huge thing for him. He never made anything of it, and he eventually, quite rightly, got a winner's medal,
yeah.
didn't he? I think back in 2007, was it
I
something like
think it
that?
was something like that. It was quite late in the day, to be fair, but
Yeah, it was.
better late than
But
never.
yeah, but the guy was brilliant,
Mm.
and I just wonder what it'd be worth today.
Oh,
You know,
wow.
you talk about Harry Kane being worth 125 million. Well, from what I've been told, and from what people have said about Jimmy Greaves, Greaves is a far superior striker.
Well, I mean, the stats do bear out that he was ridiculous. I mean, just looking here on Wikipedia as my resource, he's England's fourth highest international goal scorer with 44 goals, and he managed this in 57 caps for his country. I mean, that as a ratio, that is ridiculous. But going on, and this is me taking my West Ham specs off for a moment, guys. This is a West Ham player, but as I say, he was more known for his days at Tottenham Hotspur. And yes, there's a big rivalry between West Ham and Tottenham, but he is Tottenham Hotspur's highest ever goal scorer with 266 goals. He is also the highest goal scorer in the history of English top flight football. Yes, there is someone that has more goals than Alan Shearer. There was football before 1992, children. He got 357 goals. So what? That's 93, 94 goals. I can't remember how many Shearer got in the Premier League, but yeah, whatever. He got a fair chunk more goals than Alan Shearer managed, and he also has scored more hat tricks for England than anyone else. He got 6 hat tricks for England. He finished also as the First Division's top goal scorer in 6 seasons. Absolutely ridiculous.
He played in that great Tottenham side, didn't he?
Yeah.
And whether, you know, as West Ham fans, it sticks in the throat to say that was a great Tottenham side, but it was.
Yeah.
They were the Manchester United of their day, or the Man City of their day. First club ever to do the double. And, you know, that team, if you think about it, they did the double, never been done before. And they actually went and bought Jimmy Greaves to improve that side. That gives you some idea of the caliber of player he was.
Yeah.
He's, you know, and when you hear him talk, I mean, there's been lots of sound bites on him today. He said, well, you know, it was the one thing I could just do, kick a ball. He said, I could just do it. And the other comment he made, which I thought was very telling, he said, it was a brilliant career and I'd do it all again if I could.
Yeah. And I just a little personal thing. I mean, I actually grew up with Jimmy Greaves' name very, very close to. There was a wall outside my nan and granddad's flat in Kennington. I grew up in the same block of flats as my nan and granddad, and it was an outside their front door was a wall. And on this wall was some scrawl that my father had put there when he was about, I think, 14 or so years of age, 13, 14. And it was sort of West Ham United. There was a set of crossed hammers, and he'd put the names of Moore, Hurst, and Greaves. So Jimmy Greaves was indelibly inked onto my childhood just simply because of that wall. In later years, I actually had the opportunity. Funnily enough, my friend actually put these photographs up. I was offered the chance to go and meet Jimmy Greaves at a local non-league football club to myself. And I can't remember the reason why, but I couldn't make it this particular night. And it was something that really bugged me at the time, that I wished that I could go and shake hands with, like I say, an English footballing legend in Jimmy Greaves, you know, and I never got the chance, and sadly now I never will. So,
and I think we've actually lost one of the greats. I mean, we go on now about Ronaldo, Messi, players like that. And if Greaves was alive today playing Premier League football, I wonder if he'd be in the same conversation.
Well,
as a striker.
Well, if you, I mean, you mentioned him there, Ronaldo. Jimmy Greaves had a record that until 2017 stood. And it was actually broken by Ronaldo in that the 366 goals that he'd scored in the top 5 European leagues, because obviously he had time with AC Milan in Serie A. 366 goals was actually a European a top 5 European leagues record, which stood, like I say, until 2017 when Cristiano Ronaldo broke it. So he was absolutely phenomenal. But I mean, anybody that's not seen Jimmy Greaves in footage, one thing that I always turn around to people and say is that he didn't usually. He wasn't a player that would blast the ball into the back of the net. He'd have an acceleration. He'd just leave defenders for dead. And as the goalkeeper's coming out and sort of like the goalkeeper make a move, he would literally just stroke it, almost like he was passing it into the net. It was quite
Yeah,
an interesting technique. And
mm,
in his entire career, if you look at his professional record, at the end read 666 matches played, 447 goals scored.
oh,
Absolutely phenomenal.
and you know, that record, I don't think anybody else can get anywhere near it, can they? Other than perhaps Ronaldo. But I also remember him doing Saint and Greavesy on a Saturday
Yes.
morning, and that they were hilarious. And he was always banging on. One thing I remember, he was always banging on about how bad Scottish goalkeepers were. And Ian St John brought up this goalkeeper called John Brown and played some footage, and he was playing wonderfully. And Greasy's turned around and gone, "He's not Scottish with a name like John Brown, is he? How can he possibly be?" And he was genuinely funny. And from what I understand, what you saw is what you got.
The other story that I wanted to talk to you about was the news that was broke yesterday, as I recalled this, of the statue that's going to be unveiled before the Rapid Vienna game for the Europa League,
Mm,
of more Hurst and Peters with the European Cup Winners' Cup that we won in 1965. Obviously, we had a statue that was commissioned and it was put at the end of the junction of Barking Road and Green Street.
hmm
Obviously, when we left the Upton Park area, that statue, I think from memory, I think there was talk about taking it to the London Stadium, but then it was decided that no, that would stay where it was, and there would be a new statue that was commissioned. It was announced yesterday that that statue will be unveiled at the Rapid Vienna game, and there's been input from Sir Jeff himself, Roberta Moore, Bobby's daughter, and Martin Peters' wife, Kathy. So this is a big news, because obviously a lot of the criticisms about London Stadium is that it doesn't feel like home, and hopefully this will be another ingredient towards making it a more homely feel.
Yeah, I mean, they are, they will always be, those three players, West Ham legends. The word legend is used uh, all too frequently, but
Yes.
the England captain, the only man ever to score a hat trick in the World Cup final, and the other guy who scored a goal, Martin Peters, all West Ham players. Good thing we
Well, I
turned
think
up, really,
was
isn't it?
Martin Peters not the first £100,000 transfer fee when he went to
I
Tottenham?
don't
I
know.
believe he was. He was
Yeah,
certainly someone that Sir Ralph Ramsey described as 10 years ahead of his time, which I think is
yeah,
quite a statement.
they are indelibly um, in our history, aren't they?
Yeah.
You can't you can't think of West Ham without thinking of Hurst, Moore, and Peters, and the rest of the side wasn't. The rest of our side wasn't that great. I mean, Harry Redknapp said we had Hurst, Moore, and Peters, and we just avoided relegation. Shows how rubbish the other eight of us were.
Fair point. Can't
But
argue
they
with
were.
him.
No, you can't argue with it. But I think it's going to be great.
Yeah.
We need to celebrate what we've done. We're not one of the mega clubs, are we? But we've got a rich and we've got a very rich history
Yeah.
that we need to celebrate. I don't, again,
Mm.
1965 uh, Cup Winners' Cup. I'd probably just about been born, but I do remember the next one where we were runners up. When we got to it in, what was it, 76, 77, I believe.
76, yeah,
Yeah,
and elect.
because I remember watching the 75 FA Cup final and going absolutely ballistic when we scored 2 goals. But you've got to have these things.
I've
We're
I've
a,
heard I've heard some supporters putting forward the argument, and I'm not saying I agree with this. In fact, in actual fact, I'll say now I don't. Putting forward the argument that why are we having a stadium a statue of obviously three legends of the club, but what they didn't do at this stadium. Why are we having this statue here? What is the purpose of it? I personally disagree with that.
oh, I do
What do you
strongly
say
as
to that?
well. Oh, I strongly disagree because I loved the bowling. I went over there with my dad. We had some great times there, but
Mm,
it's gone.
yeah.
And if I can let it go, having watched Alan Devonshire's home debut, having seen Billy Bonds, having seen Alan Taylor, having, watched Trevor Brooking grace Upton Park, if I can let it go, I really think it's time to move on.
Okay, well, that's where we're going to have to end it there, Steve. Thanks for
Yep.
your attendance as always, guys. You've
Ah,
got the
cheers, Bob.
comments section below. Obviously, the sad passing of Jimmy Greaves.
Mm.
If any of you guys that are watching have any personal memories of the great man himself, whether it be in a West Ham shirt or shirts of other clubs, even or certainly for England, any of you guys have got anything you want to contribute, you've got a comment section below. Please do. And again, what are your thoughts on the statue that's been announced? It's going to be unveiled for the Rapid Vienna game of Bobby Moore, Jeff Hurst, Martin Peters, West Ham's Holy Trinity, with the 1965 European Cup Winners' Cup being held by the captain, Bobby Moore. What are your thoughts on this? I think it's absolutely fantastic news and probably long overdue, if I'm being completely honest. But you've got a comment
Completely
section
agree.
below. Yeah, 100%. You've got the comment section below, guys. Please get involved. Let us know your thoughts on both matters. As usual, please don't forget to drop a like on the stream, subscribe to the channel, and make sure you hit that bell icon to be notified of any new content as and when we upload it to the channel. And once again, don't forget the campaign for Isla's treatment for neuroblastoma. Please put this onto your social media platform. You can copy and paste it. It's in the description below YouTube and Facebook. You can put it onto your social media platform and let people know what the campaign is about. And if you are in a position to be able to put some money into the pot, you have the Just Giving link there. Please give generously. And I thank you very much indeed for your time and attention. Steve, I am going to hit end broadcast. Before we go, we're going to do our usual sign out, my friend.
Absolutely.
Come on, you
Come on, you
irons.
irons.